anyhow, we're in the 5R here. I thought we would take a look at the corner post display here and go through the menu and also the controls for that over there as well. So first off, as you can see, the display is in the corner. There is nothing, on the center console here at all other than dials for lights and of course the key switch. So that makes visibility nice. That makes getting in and out nice. And of course, this being in the corner here is a lot better to monitor things than in the center where you gotta look through the steering wheel. I have had experience with this portion before, and I like it a lot. Like I said, it's easy to see, it's bright, tells you everything you need to know right then and there. So again, the top portion is just for indication, and the bottom portion is more of a display and adjustments area. So the top portion, right across the top, you have left and right turn signals, which that I can do. Then you have your stop, your caution, and your warning indicator. I believe below that, nothing's really used there. Next would be the engine RPM, and then of course below that the miles an hour. Just below that, of course, it shows we're in park and we're in A range. I can click it there, you can see change the range selection there. Four-wheel drive is currently engaged. Of course, all of these tractors, four-wheel drive is hydraulically disengaged, so we're not running. So that's why it shows that the four-wheel drive is engaged. Off to the side there, we have engine temp, we have fuel, and of course we have def here because this is a 90 horse and up tractor. So we do not have a DPF. We have a DOC, which is under the hood, and also we have a SCR where, of course, we are using DEF, urea, whatever you want to call it, to reduce emissions. So that's pretty much it for that section of the display right there. Like I said, it's pretty straightforward. It will have some other indicators that'll come on, like for your PTO, for guidance, if it had guidance installed, stuff like that can be displayed, of course, there. So below we have basically a little mini terminal, I would call it, because it can do a few functions, not only settings, but if you do have the auto guidance package, which I did not get because it was $4,000. But if you do get that package, you can use this for your auto guidance, which really, guys, I mean, when you set an A/B line, pretty straightforward. All you got to do is click to retrack. Yeah, you don't need a massive display for that, in my opinion. But it keeps it clean here in the cab. You can add another terminal if you want for that, but you can keep it here clean in the cab. So if we look over on the side here for our controls, it's pretty straightforward. We have a acknowledge, we have a back button, we have a menu button, we have a scroll knob to adjust settings, and we also, on the side, we have some hotkeys here. So if we want to go straight to depth control, if we want to go straight to adjusting max hitch height, if we want to go into adjusting rate of drop, engine settings, transmission settings, SCV settings, and flow diverter. So if we want to go from the joystick being used for the loader to the joystick being used to control the SCVs in the back. So with that right here, we've got the run pages up. Now they are customizable, but you can see right now, right off the bat, we have the hitch height. Next we have flow control for 1 and 2 SCVs. Then we have the hours, we have the PTO speed. So you have current use gallons per hour, and then you have the overall average gallons per hour, hour counter again, and the PTO one again. So these could be customized a little better, but nonetheless, that is the way they're currently set up. So if we hit our pages button here, you can see the first thing. Oh, maybe. Wow, that is kind of bright. So I'll turn the brightness down on this, guys. All right, so the first one is hitch. So again, we can do depth. Pretty straightforward there. We can adjust that. Next, we can do maxed height. So we can adjust that upper limit there. Rate of drop, pretty straightforward there. Again, rate of raise, and that's pretty much it here for the hitch setting, guys. So we'll back out of this. We'll go into SCVs. So here you can select whatever SCV you want to adjust. So we'll pick number 1. So you can see we can adjust the flow, which is set at max right now, and it's set for constant. So here you can adjust, of course, how many seconds you want to flow hydraulic oil before it shuts off. Pretty straightforward there. If we go to the, of course, we can do this for the loader. I did drop the loader down a little bit. You can see there, I thought it was too fast for me right now, so I did back that off quite a bit. So you can do that there. You can also set it for loader mode, which loader mode basically means it allows you to shake the bucket aggressively because the detents are no longer on. So normally what you'll have is when you run a ram all the way out, it'll pop a detent and shut the valve off. Here with the loader mode on, that is turned off. So you can aggressively shake a bucket out, stuff like that. Advanced settings, of course, the curve settings for how aggressive, when you pull back on the joystick, how aggressive you go up in flow. And so if we go back into the pages, control setup. Again, here we can select for the joystick to be used for the loader, or we can drop down here and select the joystick to be used for the rear SCVs. Transmission wise, first off is power reverser. So how fast we go from, of course, forward to reverse or vice versa. Then we have minimum engine RPM. So the minimum RPM before the transmission starts to downshift to bring engine RPM up. Of course, that is adjustable there. Next, we have minimum engine RPM in Eco. So if you're running an Eco, mainly you're going to do that if you get a light load on the back. And what will happen is it'll try to speed match when you upshift. So if you have the engine RPM up, it may bring the engine RPM down for a second or so, and then shift up, and then ramp the engine RPM back up, to have a more controllable shift at that point. Forward reverse ratio. So 1-to-1 right now. If you wanted to just basically change up how fast you go from forward to reverse, you can adjust that here. Load anticipation, max RPM. So if you're not at full max RPM, if you're coming under heavy load and the tractor anticipates it, it can boost the engine RPM to get maximum performance. Start gear, basically, depending on what range mode you've got it set to, what gear you're going to start in. Most of it is set to number 1, but you can go in there, and adjust it as needed on what gear you want to start off in. So of course, droop with PTO off. So basically here, guys, you can adjust how much the engine is pulled down before it downshifts. So basically how aggressively your load is on the engine. You can set it to where if you start going under heavy load, it starts downshifting. Of course, you can set it to where it takes quite a bit of pull down before it shifts down. So you can set that here with, of course, this would be with the PTO off. The next one over would be with the PTO on. And if you go in the menu, you can see there's 3 droop settings. Auto clutch. So this has auto clutch. Auto clutch basically means if I put my foot on the brake pedals, it will clutch. So I don't have to use the clutch pedal. I can use the brake pedals to disengage the transmission. So here you can, of course, either shut it off, low, medium, or high aggressiveness, depending on your comfort setting there. So it's pretty cool when you're doing loader work. You don't have to, run the clutch and the brake. You can just press the brake and then select your reverser once you dump and go back to going. So that is it for transmission. So we'll go back out here. If we go to engine, field cruise, so minimum engine RPM when the field cruise is selected on the console over here. Next we have auto filter cleaning, which this doesn't have DPF, so yeah, that shouldn't be doing anything there. Of course, why it's on this display is this tractor is sold, overseas in Europe, and in Europe they have different regulations, and they can get away with a little lesser standard. So they have a DPF, and yeah, you need regen to clean that diesel particulate filter out. If we back out, guys, not much left here. We have the work counters. So if you wanted to set different counters, then you have the overall reading here. We have all your system data if you want to look at it here. If we back out of that, implement width, not really something to be concerned with here because we don't have GPS, but you can set how wide the implement is. Recording trigger. So basically, guys, how we want to set up triggering of the, you could say customer counters. If we want to set it up where it automatically comes on, you can do that here. However you want to set the triggering point for the counters. So that's pretty much it there. Next we have maintenance, of course, service counter, and service interval. Pretty straightforward. Diagnostics, we can look at trouble codes, and we can adjust addresses, which that's something more so on the, dealer side. If an option is added, they can go in here, and some of the ones they can adjust the addresses or do calibrations without having to use their diagnostic tool. So next is screen brightness. I do have it turned down right now so that this camera picks it up better. You can also set it for day and night mode, set the language, set the units, the format of the numbering. So of course you can see how you want the numbers laid out, and just an abouts here, software data, serial number, hardware. Yeah, that's all for that display there. Here you can adjust that layout we discussed, so you can adjust the different pages, what you want to be displayed on the pages. I'm probably going to go in here and do a little adjustment on these, try to get that just engine oil pressure, coolant temp, that stuff on there would be nice to see. So, but I won't let you guys sit through that. So that's what's adjusted there. That's it, guys. So it's simple, but it's easy to use, and all in all, I think it has everything you really need. Now again, if you're using this for GPS, then maybe you do add another terminal, but I think you can do everything right through there and keep the cab clutter free. So just my thoughts on that. I've used it before, and I don't care for bigger displays for GPS. I think it's unnecessary, to be honest with you. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully it helps some of you guys out that are on the fence between what to do, what to get, either going with a Deere or even between a 5M, 5R, 6M, 6R. That's always the debate. So anyhow, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully I'll catch you on another one.